It's all right. There we go. We are live on air, and folks, I apologize for that. It looks like our little hamster's not running too quickly this week. But welcome to our weekly show. We call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping. It's where we review one of the top racing cars from around the United States. We will select a 4-race sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a pick 4 ticket. Thank you for joining us. Week number 37 of the racing season, and we are making one of our 2 stops this year in Pennsylvania. We actually missed our first entry into Pennsylvania, but tonight we are ready to repent for that sin as we make our way to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. It's Parx Racing and the Pennsylvania Derby. The pick 4 starts in race number 8. It ends in race number 8. They are all, it ends in race number 11, and they are all stakes in the pick 4 on Saturday. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'll be joined by my friends and racing analysts. It's our first handicapper. And Ray, he's like right around the corner at his home in Staten Island, New York. Ray Torado, how long would it take you to journey on the road to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania?
Oh, yeah. I know Parx is right down the turnpike, about, I would say, 60 miles away. And sometimes, if on a very dreary Monday, if they were racing, I would take a ride down there. But you know what? Now, they have a good card on the Pennsylvania Derby Day, and it's very exciting. They have some $1 million races. Noteworthy now. They're on the map.
Absolutely on the map. All right. Our West Coast handicapper, speaking of on the map, is from Temecula, California. His name is Joe English. Joe, have you ever had a chance to visit Parx Racing, or actually more specifically the beautiful multi-million-dollar casino that they have next door?
No, can't say I have. Been down that way. I think actually I remember going to like Veteran Stadium back in the day, but I don't ever recall being at
I think we've gone, Joe.
What it would have been called at the time was Philadelphia Park.
Philadelphia Park,
right. Yeah.
So
that time, yeah.
I know it was, and it actually was Keystone before it was Philadelphia Park. So it's actually had 3 names in my lifetime. So, but Rich, I did have a question.
Joe's stealing all my lines from later on the Pennsylvania Derby recap.
Maybe I missed something. We're not doing races 9 through 12. We're doing 8 through 11.
I had thought, you know what? I apologize if I missed that. I thought it was 8 through 11 was the pick 4. Let me double check that for you, right?
Because I just want to make sure because
the pick 4 is 9 to 12.
9 through 12. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I just want to make sure that because the last race wasn't a stakes race. When you said there were stakes races and you said 8 to 11, I said I know the 8th race is a stakes race. At least I thought I did.
I hate to say this to you, there is a pick 4 for races 8 through 11, but we will, if you want, we will go ahead and go through.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, there is.
Boy.
I actually had this one starting with the Pennsylvania Derby Championship. It's a $150,000 race. So I apologize, folks. We had a little bit of confusion there on the 3 broke guys. I apologize. I did not confirm that with the guys. I thought we would just go with that pick 4. But we will go with races 9 through 12 tonight. And you'll have to omit Rich's picks for race number 12 since I'll just be handicapping out of the shotgun there.
Okay.
All righty. So I don't know if you can see him, but that is California Chrome, and he's going to join us for tonight's show. And yes, for anybody who's going to correct me out there, I know he did not win the Pennsylvania Derby since we handicapped it right here on this show 2 years ago. But they don't make a Bayern doll, all right? I don't know any fans that have a shelf full of Bayern memorabilia.
Maybe the soccer team, but not the horse.
Not the horse, exactly. All right. Last week was.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ray.
Well, I said actually buying is my horses bailed me out in the Breeders' Cup, so thank you very much.
Oh yeah. Don't bring that up. Don't bring that up. All right. All right. Last week was Woodbine Racing in Toronto, Canada, and we continued our recent hot streak. We dialed in our 3rd pick 4 score in the last 4 weeks. The 20-cent wager paid over $230. Shouts out to both of our handicappers on this show. Joe, he gave you Johnny Bear in the Northern Dancer, and of course it was Ray's Little Pony. He's also known as World Approval, who finished it off for us in the Woodbine Mile. So, virtual high five out there to Staten Island and Temecula. Nice job, guys. All right. Time for a brief weather update from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And everybody I know from Pennsylvania talks like that. So Forecast for Saturday calls for sunny skies. It's a high of 87 degrees. The winds are north at 5 to 10 miles an hour. There is a 0% chance of rain. Stay away, Hurricane Jose. A total of 13 races, 5 stakes on tap for Saturday. For today, we are focused on the pick 4. It begins in race number 9, and it concludes in race number 12. Gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded. The outriders are clear, and the starter is ready to pop the gate. It's pick 4 post time.
I need to make sure I wear deodorant. Did you say 87 degrees?
87.
Let's go. Yes, right.
Oh my God! Are you kidding? That's Cali weather.
There's a few things that are going to be Cali about this one. So, all right, race number 9. I don't have the post time for you. I have the post time. I can tell you that race number 8 is at the post time is at 3:41 p.m. Eastern time.
4:14.
Like, I would say go ahead and add 4:14 as your Eastern time. Pick 4 post time, but give or take a few minutes. Race number 9, they're going 6 furlongs on the main track. It is the Gallant Bob Stakes. It's a grade 3. The purse is $300,000 for 3-year-olds only. 9 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 1. It's the co-entry of Petrov, trained by Ron Moquette and ridden by Jose Ortiz, and Cold Front, trained by Todd Pletcher and ridden by John Velazquez. Combined, they are 2-1 on the Parx morning line. Gallant Bob was the 1975 Eclipse Award winner for champion sprinter after scoring in 14 of 18 starts. Gentlemen, all those wins were in stakes races in 1975. All right, my man, Raider Joe, who do you like in the Gallant Bob?
Well, I can tell you, Rich, you ain't getting 2-1, but to me, Cold Front is the class, and he's the one you got to beat. I kind of expected he'll be on the lead. He's coming out of the Alan Jerkins. We finished 5th, not a bad race of 9 in that grade 1. This is his 3rd start off the layoff. John Velazquez comes in for the ride. Obviously, Todd Pletcher having a good meet at Philly Park. Well, actually, I'm sorry, Parx. I know it has 3 different names, but obviously this horse is the class of the field. He's the one they're going to have to beat. Kind of not sure why they're even running Petrov in here. I mean, again, I don't think you're getting 2-1 on this entry whatsoever. You're going to get closer to 6-5, even money maybe. But he's the horse you got to beat. Probably has the most early speed in the field, so he'll be tough to down. But there are a couple of other horses I like a little bit. One is the horse who ran second to him to Cold Front in the Amsterdam, and that's Excitations. Looks more like a one-turn horse to me. Sprinter turning back. He's going to have to go against what we see as the bias of the racetrack. 74% of the 6 furlong races at Philly Park were won by the early speed types. So he's going to be up against it from that perspective. But he finished second to Cold Front in the Amsterdam 2-back. He's taking a little time off, so he's a little bit fresher for this engagement. But still, I don't know that he's going to be able to beat Cold Front, but I want to make sure that I have him covered if in case something happens and Cold Front doesn't run his race. And then there's another horse I like a little bit who's a lot longer of a price, and that's I think the horse is the number 4, Running Mate. Larry Jones is the trainer. That connection with Brian Pedroza, 7 for 18 is 39%. That's pretty good. And I always love a horse that's coming from Delaware Park. I've said it over basically this whole summer, pretty much every weekend. This horse is, again, another horse 3rd off the layoff. You can see Larry Jones' numbers 3rd off the layoff for 30%. That's pretty good, actually, considering he's 1 for 3 at the meet. 33% is really not really much of a basis of foundation. I'd say, oh yeah, well, I mean, Larry Jones is obviously a very good, gifted horse trainer. Usually his success has been with 3-year-old fillies, at least in the past. But this horse, I mean, if there's a horse who can come from off the pace, obviously Pedroza's been aboard the last 2 starts, won handily last time out. Maybe, like I said, just trying to look for a price in case something happens to one of the favorites. I'm basically going on the Jones-Pedroza angle. Obviously, the horse is working well at Delaware Park. 2 bullets, 46-3 and 59 flat. So I'm going to take him with a little bit of a price. So for me, my numbers in this race are the 1 entry, but really it's more Cold Front. I wouldn't be on Petrov if they happen to scratch Cold Front the morning of the race or tomorrow. I would have to go in a different direction. But otherwise, I would go with the 4 Running Mate and the 7 Excitations as my 3A picks in the Gallant Bob. So I will hand it off. Well, actually, I can't really hand it off 3,000 miles away, so I have to throw a pass. Ray, are you going to be open to catch it?
Yes, you can. It'd be a long handoff.
Well, if I could do that, I think the Giants could use some help. I would probably be on the Giants roster for Sunday's game.
I'm actually the starting right tackle tomorrow. So. All right.
Actually, the way they've been playing, I think you've been the starting right tackle for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Just put a pile of bricks on the offensive line. All right, here we go. Gallant Bob, you're right. I'm also with the entry. He found the 7 furlongs a little too far, I believe, and they tried to raid him, and he didn't take too much kind to that. He's a tough field too. You had Patrick Joke, Tactful, American Anthem. So he's going to cut back here in distance, cut back in class. He might find himself back on the lead again, and Javier, he should lead this field pretty well. Petrov, I think you're right. If they scratch Crawford, I would Petrov, but he's a good complement to from in case anything happened to Crawford. He's a closer. He come off the pace. He'll be saving ground for Jose Ortiz. It's a good entry. You have speed, you have the closer. So both of them should run. 1-1A. That's a good entry there. You're right. Even money, 4 to 5. Run that price. I do like number 5, American Pastime. He's stepping up here into greater stakes of some sharp optional claiming races, Santanita and Del Mar. He's 3 out of 5, all 3 wins at 6 furlongs. So, Kent DeSormo hit here, Robert Hess. He broke his maiden very nicely at Santanita with a good figure. And he should move forward in this race. A good class test for him. I'm just going to go 2 deep here, the 1 and the 5 in the Gallant Bob. All right, Rich, it's up to you.
All right, 1 and 5 for Ray there, and I am going to ask my 2 colleagues here to go ahead and take a look out at the entries for DRF and everything else, just to make sure that we are on track for the pick 4 for this race. I'm not seeing a pick 4 that starts in race 9, neither on my form that I've got up on the screen for us or on Daily Racing Form. It looks like the pick 4 starts in race number 8. So
really, the
original form had it as race 9.
Right. So maybe it could be.
I am sure.
You're right, Rich. On the finale, you're right.
I'm not seeing it, and I've also got the DRF. I pulled up the DRF site, and so I was just checking it out, and I don't see it on there as well. So it could be race 8. It's and you know what we'll do is
I have an idea. We can do a quick handicap race 8 online, and
exactly. We'll flip the page. We'll flip the page at the end. So we'll come back. We'll move along to race number 10, and I'll give my partners here.
I had 2 long shots I liked in race 12. Man,
actually,
pissing me off.
I'm glad though. I'm a sucker for all stakes. So let's face it, and things like that. And let's see here. I am up. I believe I'm still sharing my screen. Have you've got my screen? So I've got, and the reason I'm asking, I've got that ancient PC, folks. And I apologize for that. But so at this point in time, I had thought we were already going to be our second race in, so I wanted to make sure that I'm clear on that. But if you can believe that, I'm back. I've got the check marks up this week. I've been getting some flack for that these last few weeks. And hey, where's the check marks? So check marks are back up. I've got my check marks on my pages and like that. I've got some comments for you and like that. However, since this was supposed to be the second race, not the first, I did want to point out that I was sitting in a bar handicapping for 3 hours before this race before I started making my picks. However, before I go that way, let's forget that we do not like to split our races at the blackjack table. Joe and I will have that little discussion forever as we ride out to Vegas one day, or split our kings, at the blackjack table. And here we've got Top Fletcher. He actually has a pair in this race. Ironically enough, they're not the co-entry up there in race number 1 with Petrov and Colfrin, but rather it's Sonic Mule here, who was a very talented sprinter. He was down in Gulfstream Park earlier this year where I was following him. He seemed like he was really on his groove. He won 3 in a row before he ran up against some tough competition there in the Swale. He actually Tampa Bay Derby, in the Pennsylvania Derby Mile the Pat Day Mile back on Churchill Downs, and then in that last race he was eased, he walked off, and that's actually one of my favorite angles was he was eased, he was walked off. It looks like everything was okay, and Fletcher got him right back on the track, and as you see there, he's got the 4 consecutive workouts. And I just wanted to say this if for no other reason because, guys, we've been doing this show now for over 2 years. And I have never said Kendrick Carmouche is on fire before, but he's on fire right now. 28 starts, he's got 9 wins. He's hitting at 32%. Obviously, him and Fletcher not a magic combination, but Kendrick is firing right now. So my check mark ends up on Sonic Mule. I'm just so happy to go away from the two of you that I wanted to flabbergast and go philosophic here. So my other 2 picks, unfortunately, are right behind Ray with American Pastime. I did like this. I did remind everybody this was the original 3 Broke Guys angle, moving up in class, coming out from California, and Robert Hess, Kent DeSormo, a very powerful combination at one time in the past. And believe it or not, I still think they've got a little twinkle in their eye for each other. So I actually put in Cold Front. I could not toss the chalk here. I agree with Joe. I didn't know why Petrov was part of this combination. Couldn't quite figure that one out. But Cold Front is the real deal. And with John Velasquez and Todd Pletcher, I didn't even really check that. I put that in there. I put in Todd We Trust. Just don't split your Pletchers because I would imagine there's a region that Pletcher put Sonic Mule in here with Cold Front, who seems like he's such an obvious winner in this particular case when he's 3-4. Believe it or not, as one of my B picks, I did put down here Ann Arbor Eddie. If you look at it, the horse has 2 defeats. They're actually by significant lengths. I think he's got 2 defeats by 33 lengths in his last 6 months of racing. But if you look at the horses that he got beat by in those races, they have names like Mastery or Iliad or Practical Joke. So it's not like he got beat by slouches. And I had thought that he might be worthy of a B pick for me. So I went 6-5-1 on my top line, but surprisingly enough, again, the 6, Sonic Mule, is actually my top pick in this race. And again, I was just so happy to not have the exact same pick as Ray and Joe, which pretty much I have every single week nowadays.
I think we're just
all right. So
sounds good.
We're just that's gonna be attributable to the alcohol.
That's gonna be there. You go, the bar.
Well, I get to add on my ticket, so.
Yeah, exactly.
More horses.
So I will bring up the fact that it's called the Tap House and it's here in Murrieta. It's right around the corner from my house. And provided that things work out and things like that, maybe that's where we can go to handicap the night that we pick up Ray and bring him back from the airport for Breeders' Cup. All right, I am back. Hi everybody. And we are moving along to race 10. And I just want to remind you guys that we are actually going to go with a little bit of the lopsided format here tonight if you join us a little bit late. So we're going race 9, 10, 11, and then we're going to go back to race number 8 where I'm going to catch Ray and Joe up on race number 8. We are moving on to race number 10. This is a 1 1/16 miles on the main track. It is the Cotillion Stakes. It is a grade 1. It is a purse of $1 million for filly 3-year-olds only. 11 starters, and your morning line favorite at 8-5 is in post number 9. It's Abel Tasman, trained by Bob Baffert and ridden by Mike Smith. This race was inaugurated in 1969. It was at Liberty Bell Park in Northeast Philadelphia. That was before thoroughbred racing moved to, and Joe already kind of stole my thunder on this one, Keystone Racetrack. It is an extremely prestigious race, and it's evidenced by the recent winners. Some of the names you see in there, there's Havre de Grace, there's Untappable, and our Heartthrob. There's Songbird in there. Those are 3 of your last winners in that race. Ray, 11 classy ladies. It's for $1 million, and just don't forget who's watching, my friend.
I know. It's a short price. Good horse. But you know what? I'm gonna try and beat Abel Tasman. I mean, she'll be on my ticket, but I'm gonna try and beat her. I'm looking at number 2, Lockdown. Her base races have come at the distance, and she's 2 for 3 at the distance. She was closing the Alabama in mid-race, but then she just tired late. So I don't think she really wanted to run a quarter that day. First race off the layoff, a slight layoff she had there. She was still in the Kentucky Oaks. Sharp workout for this. 47.3 Belmont. Jose Ortiz aboard Billy Mott. I think she's gonna be revved up for this race, and she has a lot of upside on her. She's been closing the Mother Goose, just got beat as a favorite. So I'm gonna go with Lockdown number 2. Um, Hopefully she'll turn around. Distance will be right for her at mile 16th. My second choice is number 9, Abel Tasman. Of course, the Classic Field, 4-time grade winner, which it's a grade 1, so she has a big advantage here. She's the winner of the last 3, all grade 1s. She's doing very well. Mike Smith, Bob Baffert, they're here for the billion. She's coming to her own, I'll tell you. She's a 6 for 9, 2 seconds, so she's having a good year. 3 for 5 this year. So Abel Tasman is the horse to beat, but don't expect more than 4 to 5 on her. Also, Fletcher has 3 horses here. I don't know who's gonna run. Maybe one of them, all 3 of them. But if any of them, the one I do like is number 1X, Run and Go. She's the impressive winner of 2 sprints, and she's stretching out here. This is a big step for her. I think this horse has something. She's been running very well in the sprints. Opening up late. I don't know. Pletcher thinks maybe this could be her coming out party. Who knows? But there'll be a price. Yeah, the 12-1 entry. You got 3 horses at 12-1. There's something. There's a lot there. So, but I do like 1X. Unlike my B line, I do like number 10, Salty. Just finished behind Abel Tasman and the Kentucky Oaks, the Acorn, and the Coaching Club of American Oaks. If Abel stumbles here, I think Salty could be right there. So watch out for Salty. Good price. And also number 5, Tiswell. I think she's fun. She's fun. I don't think she wants to be on the lead in the Alabama. Maybe just
I think that might be my PC causing Ray to go all rap on us.
I hear you fine, Rich.
She could cook a fast pace and make a front run at the leader. So that could be I don't know, maybe Mac connection, I'm not sure. But I'll go 2, 9, 1X, and then underneath 10 and 5. All right, Joe.
Where do I go? Where do I start with? I'm only going too deep. It's funny, Ray. You were talking about the 1 entry. What that entry reminds me of is, remember the days back in the 90s, maybe even earlier in the 2000s, when they used to have a field at the Kentucky Derby, and there were like 5 horses, and they were all like 50 or 60-1. There's a reason there's 5 horses and there's 60-1. I mean, if you're getting 5 horses and it's 60-1, you're still getting 60-1. I don't know. To me, that tells me something about what the morning line maker thinks that the crowd will think of the quality of those horses. And who knows? Maybe the 1X can jump up and surprise. To me, jumping from a non-winners 1 allowance into a grade 1. It's like bowling, first bowling against me and then bowling against Jason Belmonte. The jumping class is just ridiculous. So to me, if she does it, more power to her, but that's really, it's really odd to see for a 3-year-old to do that. Maybe it as a 2-year-old, because basically they jump from their maiden wins into stakes in a lot of cases anyway. I'm going with the horse you mentioned last. It's Tiswell, to try and beat Abel Tasman. I agree. She was that fit pace in the Alabama was too fast, but I love the fact that she hung on to beat Salty to finish third. Salty, who finished third. Obviously she got beat 5.5 lengths by Late. And the thing about this race is that really these are the last 2, the Pennsylvania Derby and the Cotillion. These are the last time the 3-year-olds are going to face their own age group. They really aren't. Basically, now you go into older company. So, I guess really what I'm saying is I think everybody's going to enter. That's why you got 11 in here. Abel Tasman's the best horse on paper, but like I said, I like the way Tiswell ran in the Alabama. Finishing second in that race is no disgrace. The pace was ridiculously fast, and just like you were saying earlier about Salty, or I'm about Lockdown, I don't think that horse wanted a mile and a quarter. I think it was just, it was, the horse was obviously doing well. The horse did well enough to run second in a grade 1. I can't argue that. But I think the mile and the 16 fits right between her eyes. And I also think the fact is that Abel Tasman and Salty drew outside boxes. And I don't know that there's that short a run, that there's that long a run into the first turn with those horses. Abel Tasman's more a closer. So maybe she's going to drop even further back than normal. Like I said, I just think Tiswell drew better. She's fit enough. She's got 3 races under her belt. This is her 4th race off the layoff. And again, 4 for 9 lifetime. She's made over 500,000. She hasn't won the grade 1 yet. She actually hasn't even won a grade 2 yet. But I'm going to take a chance that the distance is going to suit her, and maybe the not the profile, the post positions that the 2 favorites drew might be a little bit of a hindrance. But you have to give Abel Tasman her due. She's done everything right. She's won the last 3 grade 1s. Right now, she's the leader of the division in the clubhouse. If for whatever reason they didn't run anymore. But like I said, I think, and Baffert Smith, and I saw some ridiculous stat on Twitter about when they team up on races outside of California, they're like 15 for their last 18 or some stupid number. But the thing about that is, to me, I'm trying to beat her because I'm like, they can't keep that pace. There's just no way they can keep going 15. They can't be 15 for 18 forever. At some point, they're going to get beat. They're flesh and blood. They're not robots. So I'm going to try and beat Abel Tasman with Tiswell, but Abel Tasman has to be on the ticket. So 5 and 9 for me in the cotillion. Rich?
Yeah, I'm the other way around, Joe. I'm actually 9-5. You guys can already see the check mark that's up there. So hang on 1 second. I'll bring this up real quick. Stop this moving for you. Show that we get this up there. The guys are real disappointed. They're there. And I don't think we need to go much farther. I think Joe already kind of gave you a lot of the information there. Abel Tasman is the best horse in this race. She's won 3 in a row. Unless your name is something like Paradise Woods, who freaked that day. The day that she won that race, she ran just off the charts in the Santa Anita Oaks. Or Unique Bella, who one of our handicappers on this show was touting for the Kentucky Derby earlier this year. That's how good a horse this was. You're not going to take down an Abel Tasman. Baffert's gotten his swagger back. He's back on fire and all that. So in all likelihood, Abel Tasman is at least a candidate to be my single. But in this particular case, because it's broken ice handicapping, and because I do look for an opportunity to try and beat a favorite like that, I was looking to the king. So Tiswell. Jerry Hollendorfer and Drayden Van Dyke. Not crazy about Drayden coming out here for this race on a dirt track. He's a little bit better, I think, as a turf rider. But Tiswell has won 3 of her last, I believe it's 3 of the last 5 or 3 of the last 6, and it actually has faced some very, very solid company. And has beaten some good horses as well, and been up there with like Fabian and Mopatism and types like that. So I thought that merited an opportunity, and I put the 9-5 with the 9 having a real strong. I've got them both here, for God's sakes. So I got Mike Smith and Bob Baffert on top here. And let's see here. Ray's got 2, 9, 1X. Ray actually did put the 10 and the 5 underneath, and Joe went 5 to 9. Rich went 9 to 5. I'm already back. I don't even have to come back. It's me. It's the bobbleheads. It's Mike. And it's Bob. And we are going to move along to what would normally have been the finale for us, but instead, for this week, we will actually go one more race for you, and bring up race number 11 for you. It is a 1 1/8 again on the main track. It is the Pennsylvania Derby, a Grade 1. Purse is $1 million for 3-year-olds only. 10 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 4. Gee, where have we heard these 2 names? West Coast, trained by Bob Baffert and ridden by Mike Smith. The Pennsylvania Derby began on Memorial Day in 1979. 1979, wow. And achieved graded status in 1981. As I mentioned in our introduction, the race gained much name recognition when 2014 Kentucky Derby winner California Chrome entered the then Grade 2 event and was upset by Bayern in a prelude of what was to come at that year's Breeders' Cup race. It was witnessed by these three broke guys, as a matter of fact. Joe, same proposition for you. It's a quality field of 3-year-olds with $1 million up for grabs. Who do you like? It's not the finale for Ernest Night. It would have been the finale. I think he's still watching.
It's the finale in the actual sequence. We just, because of the paperwork snafu, we're actually just going in the wrong order. It's hard to go against West Coast. He's obviously shown an ability in his last 3 races. 3 races back, he was 6th early. 2 races back at Los Al in the Los Al Derby, he was 5th early. And at Saratoga, he just went wire to wire. He can pretty much do everything. He's run 1 over 2 turns. He's won at distances from 1 1/16 to 1 1/4. He's won 4 in a row. He's 5 for 7 this year. If he places pretty much anywhere, he will be a new millionaire, having won over 993,000 to this point. He's the horse they're going to have to beat. I really could only, as far as coming up with A picks, I could really only find one other horse that I kind of like a little bit, and that's the horse directly to his outside. So when we touted it, or at least I touted in the Travers, and that was IRAP. And it's funny because this horse's running line looks similar to Lockdown in the Cotillion, where he made an early move and he was up close, right outside of West Coast, but West Coast ended up having another gear and kicked and put him away. Gunnevera came and got him for second money. But IRAP
still got you.
IRAP is still, quality horse. He's won a Grade 2 at the distance, won 2 Grade 3s at 1 1/8 and 1 1/16. It's ironic that Doug O'Neill actually had sent IRAP to Pennsylvania for 2 workouts to get used to the track, which he hadn't done for Ann Arbor Eddie earlier in the card. So the horse has been here for a while. A little bit of a wide trip last time out. So I think he's the second best horse in the race, and he's got the second best chance of winning. So I just went too deep in here. West Coast and IRAP, the 4 and the 5 in the PA Derby. Ray, can you give us a little bit more? I'm the chalk eating weasel this week. So anybody else you think has a shot in here?
Yeah, actually, I'm thinking the same way. I'm on West Coast. I'm looking to sing with him. I think he's alligating. It's on the phone. Please wrote it down. Alligating. He's really coming to his own. I mean, he's winning, opening up, some trouble there. He's wide, an easy goer. He looked like he was squeezed over there in the start, and he ran well. And Travers, that was it. He beat the best. I mean, he beat the Derby winner, the Preakness winner, the Belmont winner. I mean, I know they were all probably, he's more fresher than them because they've gone to the Triple Crown Wars, but he beat them convincingly, and it was a good race for him. It was no doubt, and he's spined the field because of that 2 to 7 pounds. He's got to carry an additional 2 pounds because he won a Grade 1 at a mile over. But put 130 on him, I think he'll still win. So you don't have to be in the lead. You just have to work out a good trip, stay close, and he'll be there at the end. So that's my single, West Coast. 3-year-old champ, I would say.
Nice.
Rich?
Yeah, I don't have much. I've got the bobblehead sitting here next to me, so I actually turned him away so they wouldn't hear me talking as I went through here and like that. But he, as you see here on the page that I've got there, West Coast has won 4 in a row. He's got 5 out of 7 overall with 2 second places. the horse hasn't done really very much wrong throughout his career. Here he is. He's that horse of the second half of the year, which is why you see my comment there. Is he arrogating? Is this that horse that's coming on in the second half of the year that we didn't see during the Triple Crown that's suddenly going to explode and take our breath away? I do not have him as my single. I love Gary and Mary West as the owners as well. Apparently that's where the name came from, West Coast and all that. I decided to go ahead because Joe was asking for it. He was saying, hey, has somebody else got, maybe a little bit of a price horse? Has somebody got a Johnny Bear for us this week? And so I decided to go with, and I'm not even going to bring out his bobblehead doll because obviously it's not on the turf and things like that. But let's go with our boy Chad Brown and Javier Castellano. They hit 22% together. Timeline was undefeated coming into that last race. As you see there, the race car kind of caught it. He did hesitate a little bit at the start. He was bumped at the start. Didn't have the best trip. That was the race that Joe had Gervin that prompted our post-problem review, actually, that put us onto our little win streak here. So, trying to remember back to that, going into that race, Timeline was the favorite. Going into that race, he was undefeated. He really hadn't taken a wrong step. He has one of the best trainers in the country, riders in the country. So, kind of going back to Joe's caveat for us all the way back to the beginning of 2017 is we're still looking for forgiveness. And in this particular case, maybe Timeline is entitled to a little bit of forgiveness for what happened to him there in the Haskell based on what the race car caught. And let's go ahead and put him back to 4 for 4, coming into his second race. And maybe, just maybe, West Coast isn't up to being on the East Coast for as long as he has been for as long. And so I went for 1 here. I've got Joe down going for 5 here. And my boy Ray went just for the single. He's got just West Coast number 4. I'm going to come on back to you guys. And I will take us all the way back to race number 8. And I'd say, hey, you know what? For a treat, what do you say we let Rich hit lead off for once? That way it gives my friends here a little bit of an extra chance to go ahead and catch up on their handicapping since we did catch them off guard tonight. And I will go ahead and let me pull my racing form back up to race number 8 to remember exactly who it was that I picked in that race. And let's set the table for you. So it's race number 8. And, folks, the approximate post time for race number 8 is 3:41 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're out here on the West Coast, it's 12:41 p.m. West Coast time. I do not know about a pick 4 guarantee, but I'm actually sure that with as big a race day as they're having out there in Pennsylvania, they've got some kind of a guarantee in their pick 4. It is 1 mile and a 16th. It's on the main track. It is the Pennsylvania Derby Champion Stakes. The purse is $150,000. It's for 3-year-olds and upward. 9 starters, and your 3-to-1 morning line favorite is in post number 4. It's Matt King Cole, trained by Linda Rice and ridden by Jose Ortiz. Ray, you're not going to hit lead off for us tonight. I am actually going to hit lead off on a very hot team. I'm going to call us the Little Indians. This is the Little Derby, so we're the Little Indians. We've actually hit on 15 of our last 16 races, folks. So I don't know if I brought that up during our intro. We have hit 3 of the last pick 4s, and we have given you, again, 15 of the last 16 winners in our races. Let me go ahead and bring up my racing form for you so we can see who did I like in that Pennsylvania Derby Championship Stakes.
Who lost that? Oh, I'm trying to think.
Yeah. That was the first hour that I was in the bar. So hey, hopefully those are the best picks I have for you.
The race you lost, was that Tacita?
No, you know what? That was let's see. We were at that was at Saratoga, that race, and I'm trying to remember who it was that knocked us out that race and what that. It was it was a tough sequence though. It was one of the tougher races. It wasn't like we missed on one of the obvious ones. So. All right, here we are back on the Pennsylvania Derby Champion Stakes. And if we have time at the end, I'll go ahead and try to pull that back for you, right? And believe it or not, I decided, and again, I must have been back on our forgiveness take. If you watch this show, and I think besides the 3 of us, there must be like 50 to 100 people who watch this show total across the country. But if you watch this show, you'll know that we were actually all sold on Paige McKinney. And this goes all the way back to the, if I'm not mistaken, it was the February 18th Laurel Park show. And the reason I know that is we do not have many tracks like Laurel Park. And he was the favorite that day. He was 60 cents on the dollar, and sure enough, he got beat by Bodhisattva. It continued a long losing streak for us back early in the beginning part of the year. So, Paige McKinney, though, is a bit of what I like to call there, as you see in my comments, a Parx win machine. This horse just absolutely loves Parx Racetrack. Pretty good at other places as well. 7 years old, starting to get up there. Has got the rider that has always been on. I think this rider has been on the horse since he was foaled. Horacio Caramanos. It's Mary Epler. She's got good stats here. She is a local Parx champion. The horse is 9 for 12 at the distance, 5 for 6 with 1 second place at Parx. As you see there, came back to Parx to kind of break a little bit of a losing streak. Again, knocked us out of the pick 4 back at Laurel, but we're not at Laurel. We're at Parx. So the 8 was actually in the 8th race. I actually had the 8 as my top pick. Let me go ahead, and I did not single here, if I'm not mistaken. I also, I know I've got the favorite in there as well, but I had the 2. Donegal Moon. I was sold on Todd Pletcher horses today. So Donegal Moon with Todd Pletcher and Javier Castellano. If we go back here, we weren't doing this a little bit earlier, but this place is not only Joe is the weather like Santa Anita, but the track actually plays like Santa Anita. So this is a mile of 16th race. You get 28% of the winners go wire to wire. You get 83% are early P types. Just find the horse that's going to get to the front and is going to be able to hold. That was actually one of the reasons why I like Paige McKinney. I thought maybe that layoff a little bit earlier in the year might have hurt her. I thought, or him, excuse me. Donegal Moon, on the other hand, from Todd Pletcher, right in his form cycle. There's no Sharp Azteca in this race. There's no Destin in this race. Those are the 2 horses that beat him the last few times. So I think this is Donegal Moon, right up his alley. And if you need to back that up one more, I would not leave out Matt King Cole. Scary fast horse, scary quick horse. Is going to obviously be on the lead. And again, the numbers that we saw there at the end, you've got Linda Rice, you've got Jose Ortiz. You've only got, best rider in the country unless he's at a family affair. He's going to be tough. So Matt King Cole will be right up there on the front. I actually went 8, 2, 4 here in the Pencil Derby, the Pennsylvania Derby Champion Stakes. And, wow, you haven't heard me talk that much on a race in quite a while because I never get to hit lead off. So you know what? Right now, I am going to hand it over. And, Ray, your timeout is over, and you are now up on the Pennsylvania Derby Stakes.
All right, very good. Those horses look pretty good to me. You're right about Paige McKinney. I tell you, this horse wins. Parx 5 to 6 is 19 wins. Yeah, this horse is 9 wins at the distance. I'll vote for that one. I do like also Matt King Cole. Like you said, 82% of speed types. Whoa. Be on the lead, but just look for the top 3, and you're in good shape. This horse has speed. I mean, we've been handicapping this horse for a while. It's just way back, Matt King Cole. And
Yes.
we've done a lot of shows with this horse. And this horse is a hard knocking horse, and you get beat once in a while, but he's been facing some good ones there. Imperative just lost to him, and so not a bad horse. I should do well. I have a new horse here. I want to mention is Mr. Jordan, number 6. This horse has speed, which definitely helps. Coming out of a 1 and 8 race from the Island, which was his first race in he'd been going 7 furlongs, and he won convincingly in the last race. So he stretched out a little far, and cuts back in distance here, cuts back in class too for the grade 3, down to this I guess you could call it an overnight stake. So he should do well here. He's actually 2 for 3 at Parx, and Frankie Panthers one of the lead riders there. So I'll go vote for him, Mr. Jordan. I also do like horse you mentioned, Donegal Moon, Pletcher. He brings the whole van these days. So they're all there with the TAP blinkers. Just line up the van, and he comes in strolling in, and This horse actually did win Parx. He's 1-for-1. Nice allowance race by 13 lengths. So he has a fitness for the surface. And he did race in a few grade threes. Placed in them, like you said, Destin, Shapateska, he lost to. So those would be my picks right there. We got the 4, the 6, the 2, and also the 8. All right, Joe. Get anybody else here?
No, it's funny. I mean, it's really hard to to do this on the fly. I said I didn't even know. I wasn't even sure that.
I'm sorry.
Like this race. No, it's fine. It was like I said. The fact was that race. The fact is, here's the way everything goes down for those people who don't know. Race sends out the PPs early in the week, and the early week Brisnet PPs showed that there was a pick 4 on races 9 through 12. So I made the automatic assumption that that was it. I didn't look to see that there was. I looked back to race 8, and I didn't think there was one on the original Brisnet PPs.
It didn't say it. No,
race 8. So that's why I figured it was only races 9 through 12, and that's the way it ended up.
Yeah.
So Rich obviously hadn't gotten really drunk yet, so he was looking at the PPs and saw that there was the pick 4 was on races 8 through 11. So obviously we were misled. Anyway, just going with what I see, I like the 2, and I think you guys want a single, either Abel Tasman or West Coast. I like this horse a lot. I think Donegal Moon is probably worth a single on this ticket. But like the guys who were talking about, the company he's been keeping has been much better than pretty much anything everybody else has been facing here, including. You look at it's funny. Rich has Mr. Jordan up on the screen, and I see Tommy Macho in the PPs, and Tommy Macho is a New York horse that I remember. But he's not at least in my eyes, he's not in the league of Sharp Azteca. The horse that Donegal Moon got beat by last time, you might remember the horse's name is Destin. He finished second by a nose at about 11-1 to Creator in the Belmont Stakes 2 years ago. Actually, last year, it would be 2016. So obviously Destin came back and I mean, just nosed him. Again, you see Sharp Azteca, classy class. I see that just call Kenny did beat Donegal Moon at Monmouth 3 races back, but obviously this horse is rounding into much better form. The horse is in much better form now, and I think he's worth the single to me. Javier Castellano and Pletcher don't need to go into anything more about that, and really basically the guys have already covered Donegal Moon for you. So the 2 would be my single in this spot. So I would say let's start with a single and widen from here. But I know we're going to have more than that on our pick 4 line. So pick 4 ticket. So go ahead, Rich. Pull up the template if you got it ready.
All right, here we go. Come back. See, back on the camera here so you guys can see me. Hello. And
Hello.
Not that you actually need to see me.
Who wants my picks for race 12?
Yeah, really. I'm telling you. It's like I'm like maybe we need to put
number 5 Tiz Rude, number 8 Untouchable You, number 7 Expressly, and number 10 Indian Paint.
I had Indian Paint at 12-1 morning line and Legend of Lorelei at 15-1 morning line. So
there you go.
Those were my horses in that race, but unfortunately it doesn't mean squat because it's not part of the sequence.
That will be a pick 3 for races 10 to 12.
There you go.
Don't worry. We got it covered. We are blazing hot here.
You got it.
For those of you who had not joined us before, seen this template before, you've got Ray up there. He is in the Giants football red when they wear that red on Thursday night. And in the middle there is Joe. Red. He is wearing half of Raider Nation. He's just wearing the black. And down the bottom, kind of in the light blue, kind of like a fading blue, if you like, is Rich. In leg 1, let's see, and remember, leg 1 is race number 8 for us here because we kind of went backwards on the show tonight. I've got Ray, you've got the 8, the 4, the 6, 2. Joe, you singled with the 2. I've got the 8, the 2, and the 4. And do some real quick math here and say that probably puts us on 8, 2, 4, at least to start this one off. you know what? I wanted to do this from last week. I was losing race picks. I need to look at them. Last week when we started scratching, I didn't have a good handle on Mr. Toronto's picks because I'm using him as the top line here. So I will go ahead and change these to green. And as you see the green picks, that's kind of like what we're proposing. There's the top picks of the three broke guys. All right. In leg number 2, I have, let's see here, I've got Joe, or excuse me, Ray. I've got you with the 1 and the 5. I've got Joe. Joe, you got 4, 6, 8.
Yeah, no. Like I said, those wrong numbers were wrong because of the PPs.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought
I didn't look for the entry. My numbers are actually 1, 4,
9,
and 7.
1, 4, and 7 in race number 9. Excuse me.
Right. No worries.
Number 4,
Said it was
7.
kind
I
of
thought I
my
had that
fault.
correct. Here we go. And so you got 1, 4, 7 in leg number 2. And Rich, I think I've got that correct. I'm 6, 5, 1. Start down to there. And so if we do that real quick, let's see if we don't have this. I believe we've got consensus on the 1, 4, and the 5. I think those two definitely go in. And we've still got some options that are there. Let's see. Joe, you've got the 4 and the 7, and I also have the 6. Let's see if we have any room for those two. And put those two there. We're going to go on to leg number 3. And that's going to give us, let's see here.
Rich, make sure you change my numbers. Again, those were the post positions that I
Yeah,
had from you earlier. My numbers are actually 5 and 9, or
5
and 9 in that order. But they'll both be on our ticket anyway.
Let's see here.
Oh boy.
9. So this is the 10th race for us. And Ray, you were on 2, 9. I gotta make that. That's 1 X, right? And then underneath were 10 and 5.
Yeah, right, yeah.
2, 9, and 1 were your top 3, actually. And then I had 10 and 5 like that. Joe was 5 and 9. I was, dramatically different at 9 and 5. So I think those 9 and the 5 are both definitely in there. Ray, do you have the 2 as your top pick there?
Yeah, 2.
All right, so we're going to do that one. And we're going to push this down here. We'll go 2. And we've got 5. And we've also got the 9. So we're after Abel Tasman in that race. And here in our last race in the finale, Joe, have I got you correct there? I've got you with the 4 and the 5 in the last race.
Yep, that's right.
Okay. And Ray, I've just got you with the 4. And Rich, I've just got me with the 4 and the 1. So we've definitely got some consensus there on the 4. And then we've got room if we want to play either the 5 or the 1. But right now we've just got West Coast singles. Our minimum ticket that we'll put in there at the end. So we've got options there on the 5 and the 1. So let's see, 2, 5, 9 here. 3. Yeah, that's only 3 times 3 times 2. So that's a $9 ticket. We've definitely got room. So Joe, you want
let's put the 5 and the 1 in that in the last leg, just in case
agree.
something happens with West Coast. And
that's not going to kill us, right? That's only $27.
That's 27. That's fine. We can go deeper than that, obviously.
Yep. How about in leg number 2, Joe? How do you feel about this? Either your 4 or your 7.
The 4 is my long shot. The 7 was expectations.
I would actually like to see it.
Yeah.
I would actually like to see him on this ticket. I did not expectations. I left him off on my handicapping, and I actually felt stronger about him than I felt even about. I think I had Paige McKinney as my top pick in that race. I felt stronger about it. I'm sorry.
That's Paige McKinney is race 8.
That's the opening leg. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Who did I have in this leg? Race number 9. The 6 is my top pick. Hang on one second, gentlemen.
Get it down, Bob.
Yeah.
Oh, is that Sonic Mule?
Yeah, Sonic Mule, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. We can go here with.
And that would be what, 3x3x3x4. Should be 54.
So that's 20. Yep, 50. Right, 54.
Is 108, so that would be 54. The only thing that concerns me is if West Coast and Abel Tasman win, we may lose money, but I mean,
yeah.
I can deal with it. Because me personally, I think they're both, because of the Baffert Smith thing. I think they're both going to be really, really short prices. I think they're both going to be pretty much. I mean, like I said, I think the morning line rate is going to make them 8 to 5 because I don't know how much lower they can make, but
yeah,
they're going.
But at least in both cases,
to get a good payout. So
exactly. All we did was cover them. We've actually got solid coverage in both races and things like that. So kind of like with you guys last week, covering over Hawkbill and kind of giving an opportunity to go ahead and take down that really, really high price favorite, which, believe it or not, I think keyed a 20-cent, to a $230 payout.
Speaking of horses, I won't ever bet again.
All right, so let's see here. We've got 824 in the opening leg. 1567, I believe that's the Gallant Bob.
Mm-hmm.
We've got 259 in the Cotillion, and we've got 145 in the Pennsylvania Derby.
Deauville was.
He
basically lived down to my expectation.
Thank God.
Well, actually, it's funny because if with the pick four, his pick four would have actually paid more like 400 and something. World Approval was the lowest payout in the pick four.
Yes,
last night. But so I was like, okay, I'd rather see Deauville win if that's the case. But
I still got a nice 2-1 score on just betting Ray's Little Pony, which I've been doing now for months, and just
Deauville is just no.
He's like a little cat, He's like a little cash machine, Ray.
That's the ATM.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much for putting me on that horse.
Yeah, he's gonna be a decent price in the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah. All right, Joe, have you got that down? 824,
yes,
1567, 259, 145, and I will go ahead and come back and we'll wrap this up.
I do.
Oh,
God.
That's a nice ticket.
Wow. That is, and the only thing that we didn't discuss is where we're going to be next week, actually, for gentlemen, and we actually have just 1 minute left in this show for those of you who are watching.
Santa Anita.
If you enjoyed the show, we're going to be back next week because that's what the Three Broke Guys do. We're going to get together and take a look at another exciting card. You heard him. It's off to Santa Anita. It's my home away from home. Gentlemen, that's all the time we have for tonight. It's always a pleasure to handicap with the two of you.
Always a pleasure.
It's fun.
For Joe English and Ray Torado, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching Thank you for watching Three Broke Guys Handicapping, and good luck and good night.